So, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing amazing and hope your Hacktoberfest is also going awesome. And to make it more awesome, SheBuild is back with another session on Introduction to Git and GitHub. This is the first session out of our 7 sessions, which will be happening over the course of 1 week. Also, we have Vedant Jain with us, who is an SD intern at Atlan and a Google Summer of Code 2022 mentee at Circuitverse. He's an amazing open source developer, and today he'll be helping you understand the core concepts of Git and GitHub. So, over to you, Vedant.
Okay, so hi everyone. I hope you all are doing great. So I will just share my screen. First of all, thank you, Swapnil and Bhavna, for having me here. It's been a while. I haven't talked, but yeah, it would be fun. I will try my very best. Hope like it's 15 days of Hacktoberfest. I think there are still weeks remaining. Um, I hope you are getting along with it. I know there are some less swag this time, but I mean, like the main contribution should be there. So yeah, let's start with that. I will just share my screen. Swapnil, could you please confirm that is my screen
Yes, I
visible?
can see the screen.
Okay, cool. So we'll just present my screen. So, is this visible to you all?
Yep.
I mean, I just shared the. Okay, cool. Hmm. Okay. So yeah, as you know, the session is about explore Git and GitHub. It is the backbone of open source. Swapnil has already given
Uh,
the introduction of mine.
Sorry, we are
The
to
slides are
interrupt,
not
but
visible.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we can't actually see the.
Okay. Just give me a sec. I just share the whole window. Screen. Is it visible now, Swapnil?
Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. Cool. I'm sorry for the interruption. So let's start with the session right now. The topic is explore Git and GitHub, the backbone of open source. Swapnil has already given my introduction. So let's get with what is GitHub. So GitHub is a web-based platform where developers store and manage their code. So basically, GitHub is a website where beginners and professionals store their code. It helps people collaborate on projects, track changes, and learn from others' work. So it might be a great way of collaborating on a project for a beginners. I hope you already have uh, go through some of the repository in Hacktoberfest. You might find it overwhelming when getting a whole bunch of code. It might be overwhelming that it's a large base. So we are going to go about everything else in the session right away. So it's just a GitHub. So let me just give you a hands-on demo what GitHub looks like. So okay, let me just show you how you can create your uh, GitHub account. Let me just share the incognito app. This you just need to go github.com, simplest domain. You just need to sign up if you haven't. I already have, so I will just go back to my screen. So you just need to write an email. So let's say gmail.com. It will validate. I think let's okay. Okay, okay, cool. You just need to give a password. So let's just say this is the password. You just need to write a username. It needs to be unique. Let's say username Vedant Jain is not available. So you can write any of the random name that is available. and you just need to write yes or no. That means write Y, and you just need to hit your verification code on. Now, as I am already being signed up, so let me just walk you through. So when you hit the github.com, you will land up on this page. On the left hand side, like this is the screen, right? On the left hand side, you will see the top repository you already have worked on. So you can see the circuitverse code board. These are some of the projects. These are some of the projects that I contributed to. There are some recent activity that I'm involved to, so it's a great tweak. So you can just check out your recent activities, your teams that you are part of. If you are not part of the teams, this section will not be there. And this is a feed. So the one you followed, you can also filter out the announcement or any feed you want to toggle. So this is a great feature. Now let me just show you how your profile looks like. So just go to your profile. In your profile section, if you will see on the left hand side, there will be a quick introduction. The pin repository, this is all customizable. You can pin at most 6 repositories. So you can see that I have pinned 6 repository and I can't do any more. Here you can see the contribution graph that I have. 2022, I have been in GitHub since last 2 years. There are some recent activities you will see on your profile. This is a great way of, I mean, there are many times that I send this as my resume for any of the organizations that I worked before. Now, the main and important part of the GitHub is hosting a code, and where we host the code in a repository. So repository is nothing but a folder or a container where your whole code will be there and your whole collaboration for the project will be happening. So first of all, you need to have a repository. How you're going to create a repository? So before that, let me just walk you through how a big repository is going to be look like. So let me just show you my organization repository. So this is a circuitverse organization repository. If you see here, the code might looks like overwhelming, but do not worry. It just most of the Ruby on Rails. So if you are familiar with Ruby on Rails, this might be looking simpler to you, otherwise not. So on the top hand side, if you see on the left hand side, there is a circuit verse that called an org, and the circuit verse that is the repository name. So if I go to the organization, there are a bunch of repository there, so circuit verse of time. So I can toggle around between the repository. So an organization can have multiple repository, similar to an individual can have multiple repository. An organization is a group of individuals. So if you go to the circuitous organization, you will see the people right here. So it's a bunch of an organization or a company, you can say. So it's a great first feature of a great collaboration. On the top hand side, if you see on the tab, this might not be the same case with you because this will be open for access. So let's say I'm an admin in Circuitverse, so I have access to these tabs. You might be a member or guest, so might be tab filters maybe look like different for you, but code will be the same. Issues, pull requests, these three would be the same, and these three are the most important that we are going to discuss in this session. So going ahead with this, so the important thing is master. So if you see here, so what is this? This is called a branch toggle. What are the branches? Let's say you have a bunch of CD players. So you have already played a game of San Andreas, Vice City, and all of them are given into a respective CD. So let's say you have a bunch of CD collection in your house, and you wanted to insert a particular CD to your desktop at a particular time, right? So if you wanted to play, I mean, you can of course download it, but let's say the CD-based system. So what you will do, you will just switch that. Okay, I want to play a Vice City. I will just switch to the Vice City CD to my desktop, and I will play that. If I'm bored with the Vice City, I will switch to San Andreas, so I will switch the CD. The same thing is the branch and the code base. So if I switch to this one, you will see that there are the bunch of different code here. I mean, maybe it doesn't seem different, but there is. So these are some of the branches, and this is the second most important feature in the GitHub and also Git. It's a call a version controlling. So you can control any of the version. So there's a master, there can be a develop, any of the you can rename your branches anything you want to. Uh, Going ahead with that, so this is the code that is the foremost thing for you, that is shareable to anyone if the repository is public. So it can be private, it can be public, it can be archived. Mostly it's gonna be private or public only. So public is the access control where anyone on the GitHub lands here and can see your code. The private repository would not be accessible to the one that has not been added as a collaborator or as an admin. Okay, so going ahead, this is the one bunch of code you can see. So if I just go into a particular file, you can see that this is the file. And if I wanted to go to the particular folder, so you can see a different folder structure and file here. This is the important thing. Like, I mean, when we write a code on localhost as well, let's say using the VS Code, this is the similar thing we used to see in our VS Code. It's a folder. Under the folder we have subfolders or files. So the same thing that we want in a GitHub, and it should be collaborative. That means you can access the code the same I can see here as well. On the right hand side, you will see there's a bunch of information for the repository. So Circular's primary code base. There are some of the used by these are the packages. These are some of the contributors, languages that we use. So for your knowledge, Circular's is a built on Ruby on Rails, and the core module that Circular's had is simulator, which is built on Vue.js. And by the way, we are also participating in Hacktoberfest. If you wanted to get started with Hacktoberfest and with Circular's, you can go right away. So on the right hand side, if you see, there is an issue panel. So there is a difference between issues and pull requests. What are issues? Issues are some of the features that you want in a website. For example, let me just go to circuitverse.org. If I see, maybe let's just found a bug here right in there. So let's just see. If you see, this footer is not centered. I mean, this is the bug or a feature. Bug is something that is breaking. A feature is something that you're going to implement a new. But this is a bug because it needs to be ideally it needs to be in the center on the screen. So what you can do is you can write an issue, and we have already raised an issue for that. It's just an example. So let's just go to this particular issue. So in a particular issue, you will see the issue name, the ID, what is the status, open or closed. Open issues are the one that you can work on. Closed are the one that may be merged, may be resolved, or may be closed due to inactivity. So there is a bunch of description for a particular issue, and there are some of the threads that are going to be an issue. So what you will see is this particular feature of particular issue is posted by this user, can be worked by anyone, and that is what we call a collaboration, right? So this is an example of issues. Let me just walk through the pull request. Pull request, what is the pull request? Pull request is nothing but, let me just go through. Pull request is nothing but what changes you are proposing for a particular code in the master repository. So let so this is the PR, and in the top you will see the PR heading, the PR name, and here if you see, it is pointing to circuit bus master, that the branches that I just showed you earlier. So what it indicates is that if I merge this particular pull request, it is going to edit this particular branch code. And if there are many branches, if we see, like there were 79 or 80 branches in the circuit bus. So the branches that I raised a pull request for is just going to be added for that only. And where it is coming from, it is coming from a user and the branch of his. So this is an overview of the header bar of the pull request. So this is the great collaboration. So if you see in the file changes, what I will see is what changes that a particular user is proposing with a particular pull request. So if I see the pull request, it say fix navbar menu overlapping on the text on home screen, and these are the changes that I see. So as a mentor or as a admin, I can just review the code, and if I wanted any changes, I can ask him to changes. So if you see request changes, and if I see, okay, this will fix the bug or this will fix the feature, and I am just going to approve it. And what I will do is I will just going to merge this. So what is merge? Merge is something when you are assured that this particular pull request is going to benefit the code and will fix the issue that we are facing, right? So if I merge the pull request, this is going to merge and will edit my code of a master branch to a particular file changes. Okay, so this is a basic what repository looks like. So let me just go through how you can create a repository. So if you go back to github.com, in the left you will see the new. If you click, you will redirect to github.com/new. So owner, you need to choose an owner. Where are you? So I mean, if you are not a part of any organization, you will not be seeing this. But let me just go ahead with Vedant Jain. The repository name that you want to. So let me just give a temporary repo session. So let me just give this a name. You can add a public and private accessibility to your repository, and these are some of the options. So let me just create repository, and here you go. Boom. So what you will see, as I said, the tab would be looking different for you and different for according to access control. So as I created this repository, I have full access to this repository. I can do anything I want to. So let me just go to the settings and go to collaborators. Um, Not right now. Just wait. Uh, okay. So if I go to the collaborators, if I see add peoples, so as a group project, what you will do is as a leader, you will create a repository, you will add your members as a collaborator. And if you want that this needs to be private, this will be private and it will be only visible to the collaborators and you. This is a great way of collaboration that uh, GitHub, GitHub offers. So let me just go through what are the things. So as we know, like this is the new repository and there is nothing code or something. So this is a default screen you will see. We are gonna have the session on Git on the next half. And after that, I will just show you how you can push your code into this particular repository. So this is much about GitHub right away. So let's just go ahead with what is Git. Okay, so just present once again. Okay, understanding Git. One does not simply understand Git, but what is Git? Git is a distributed version control system that tracks changes in source code during software development. If I make it more simple, Git is a distributed version control system. Oh, I just typed the same thing. But what does Git does is Git is a version control system that will be used in your local system. So what you will do is in the GitHub you will see, okay, this is all the GUI, graphical user interface. But what if I wanted to post the code from local to the GitHub, there where the Git will be used. So first of all, let me just go through what are the things that you can. Okay, let's just imagine you and your friend are working on a story together, but you are writing in different parts. It is like a magical notebook that you both have. Every time one of you writes something new, you will note it down in your notebook and say it, hey, I have added this part. Anything you would write. Okay, and if your friend makes a mistake or wants to see how the story was before your latest edition, they can check your notebook history. I mean, you can just scroll the pages that we usually do. So it's a notebook of you and your friend circle or anyone. So it's a group project that you are going to work on, and it's just a page that you can scrap off, you can put it on, and you can make it a front page or something that you see a master branch. So Git plays a similar thing in this scenario. So let's just go ahead with the commands that you need to start with. So I would recommend. Like this might be overwhelming for beginners, but this can be done by practicing more. So let's just start with commands you need to start right away. So first is the git init. So by default, when you start writing code in your local, when I say local, that means in your laptop, when you type something in your laptop only. So git init is something when you initializing a git functionality into your repository or a folder or a directory that you're working on. And that is important because by default, maybe you don't need a git, right? But if you want a git, you just initialize it with git init. It's a simple command. And of course, before that, you need a git in your system. And it's just a simple, you can just go to how to down or git for any of like my is Mac. You can just type Windows or Linux. You will get the simplest thing. So for the Windows, I think there is a package. For the Mac, there would be, I think, brew command. For the Linux, there would be a command. So you can just download Git using that. After that Git, you just need to validate the Git with your GitHub account so that it will be authorized. So whenever you post something or whenever you pull something, whenever you do anything using the Git into your remote repository, it just go right away to your respective username. So you just need to validate with your GitHub account first, and after that you can see any of the git commands here. So let me just go again. Cool. So the first thing is git init. The second command is git add dot. So there would be a good way if I write the demonstration. So uh, guys, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just pause my screen because I need to just set it up for you. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, cool. Um, is my terminal visible to, can anyone confirm, please?
Not now.
Okay, just a second. It will be now, I think. Yeah, cool. Okay,
Yeah, now it's visible.
okay. So now what is the main task here? So what I need is, let me just create an issue over here. So I'm just my friend only. So what I will do is create a .txt file for your introduction. Okay. So this is an issue. I'm going to assign it to myself, and let's just get started. So what I will do is first I mean like when you will land your GitHub, when you will create your repository, you will see a basic command over here. So as I said, it needs to be git init. So in the terminal, if you see, I don't have anything. So let me just create a directory over here. So let's say temp. I will just go to, okay. So here, if you see, what you need to do is, first of all, git init. So you will see, okay, initialize empty git repository. And this means that this particular folder is now being able to use the git, and it's a version control directory. Okay, so if you see git status, You can see on branch master, no commit set. So master and main are the branches you will occasionally hear about, and these are some of the naming convention that a software developer usually use. So master and main are the branches where the main code resides. So let's just start with the code. So I will just open my VS Code over here. Okay, just if I say code dot, I can see the bit my VS Code. And what I need to do is, let me just contribute to this particular repository. What I will do is I will first create a branch. So if I just go to the VS Code, you can see this is the master branch that I'm currently on. This is the source control. If I just open the terminal, what the first thing I need to do is check out from this branch. What is the checkout? You don't usually edit your main or master branch, so that if different, like let's say I am also working on a same master branch, and my friend is also working on a same master branch, so it might be conflicting. So what we usually do is we always check out a branch. A branch means, and there is a feature that you can merge one branch to another branch. So usually what we do is we check out a branch, then if the pull request approved, we are going to merge that particular branch to a master branch. Okay, so to creating a new branch, what you usually do is
Hello,
let
Vedant. We are sorry for the interruption. Can we
yeah,
increase the size of terminal itself?
yes, I'm sorry.
The VS Code one. I think it wouldn't be visible through the stream itself.
I I hope it's visible now.
A little bit more.
Okay,
Yeah, now it's good to go.
cool. Okay, so now let me just check out -p, and let me just give this a new feature branch name. You can write any name here. So there's a case. So this is the so if you just see where I was in the master branch, and now I am in the new feature branch. And here also you can see I'm in new feature branch. If you wanted to check all the branches you have in current uh, repository, you can say oh, git branch. Okay. Hope it's now visible. I don't know why it's not visible. Let's not focus on that. Uh, okay. So what I was telling is this is the command for writing a new branch. If you already have a branch, so let me just check out to git check out master. This is the branch that I already have. So I can switch between the branches. Let me just check out to the branch master. Okay, what is going on? Anyways, let's just focus on this. So what I meant to be is I need to create a txt file for your introduction. So I will just create intro.txt. In here I will write, let's say, name, Vedant Jain, designation, let's say front end engineer. Okay, so this is the code that I wrote, and what I need is I need to see this particular code here. And right now, if you can see, this is empty. Okay, so okay, this uses the main branch. Okay, cool. So what I need to do is now it's a learning pattern. So if you see here, you can see the changes that you have done. This is the change that I have done. There was no any of the text here, and I have added this. This is a great way of seeing what are the changes that you have done. So if you have done more than one file, there will be a list and you can toggle between the list. So now what I need to do is, my main task is, first is I need to add this into a particular commit. So this is the branch. So you can see this, these, something here changed. So what it meant is, now it's a staged changes. That means that this particular changes is now good to go to be a pull request. Now, what I need to do is, I always need to say, okay, what I have added in this particular change. So for that, I use this git commit -m, that means message. And here we wrote a message. So let's say added a new file called intro.txt. And if I hit enter, you will see one file changed to insertion. And what I will do is git push. Git push is something that you do when you wanted to push the changes into a repository. I I know it's not going to work out. Yes. So what I need to do is, I need to push this particular feature branch. I also need to set up the upstream. Okay. Oh, I have not set up it yet. Yeah, I hope it will work fine now. The feature does not appear to be a Git repository. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what these errors say. Git push. Okay, finally. So if I go to my repository, what you will see here, something changed. There's a new feature, and you can see the code that I wrote, name, Vedant Jain, and designation front end. And that we want that it should be it should be transferred from our local to our uh, to our GitHub repository. Now this can be shared with anyone you want to, and you can collaborate with your friends or anyone else. So I hope, okay, so let me just go with one more thing. So let me just edit this file here and there. So let's say I have added um, city over here, and I will say, okay, I'm from Jabalpur. I will commit the changes here. And what you will see is, in the code, this is the live change, and this is under my repository, local repository. Now I need to update my particular, my local repository. So what command I will use is, I will use git pull, and you will see I have updated the changes from my remote repository. So the term that I use, remote and local. Remote is something that we refer to GitHub repository, and local repo is something that we use to refer to a working repository in our VS Code. So when you wanted to switch between these two things, so you will say, okay, if you want to push something from local to remote, you will say git push. And if you wanted to fetch a new updates from remote repository to local, you will say git pull. If you wanted to commit thing, or let's say if you wanted to make a pull request, there is just a 3-step git add dot, git add dot. So let's just say there are one more file, let's say intro2.txt, where I have write another name. So let's say Yashika, and designation is, let's say, backend engineer. Don't know, yeah. So let's say, and I also have added something here. So let's say city, and P. Okay. So this is something what I have edited. Now my task is to uh, just push one of these things. So what we usually do is if I write git add dot means every file, everything that you have changes will going to be in the state. So if I hit this, you will see git uh, state changes under all these things. So if I wanted to from just add one of these things, so what I will do is I will just type that particular file. So let's say introduction. So what you will do is under the state changes, you will see intro.txt, and on the changes that is not being committed, that is not going to be commit under the changes. So if I commit something here, so let's say, sorry, if I commit something updated intro.txt, so you can see the state changes goes away. If I write git push, you can see this is done. And if I just, sorry, if I just reload this page, you can see the updated code here and there. So, I mean, this is the basic that we need for a repository for Git and GitHub. Um, let's create a branch over here. So, new branch, let's say main branch. Okay. So that we usually do. So let's create a master branch. Now, my task is to merge this new feature branch. So if I just go to master branch that I can toggle, I can see that the same clone will be the would be there from the new feature branch. So let me just, if you wanted to make a default branch, you can also do that. If you wanted to, so let's say if you wanted to make it default, you just need to go to settings. You will just you will go to branches and add pages environment. Oh, sorry, under general default branch. So you can say switch back to master branch. So update, I understand, update the default branch. And if you just go to code, you can see that the default branch changes to master. So what is default branch? Default branch is something that if uh, anyone enters your URL of a repository, the default branch will be going to be shown, and the code under the default branch will be shown on the first page, and one can switch between any of the branches you have. Here you can see. So what you see, there's one more thing that I wanted to tell. So if you just see here, we just have a new feature branch right now in a local. So to update anything from a remote repository, what we usually do is we use git pull. So if you see new branch master origin master, so now if you see under this, you can see there is a new branch that is added to your local. So what I have taught you first is git init. This is something that we usually do to initialize our repository or folder to make it as a git compatible. Git add dot or any of the file that you have written, let's say file name. So what we usually do with this command is we try to make it simple that, okay, I am adding this file to a state changes. That means that this particular file is ready to post to a particular branch that I'm supposed to. Now, what this commit means? Commit simply says it's just a heads up that what we have added in a particular thing, and we can just write in a very suitable description manual. So let's say added a new feature or something. Okay, and the third thing is git push. So if I write git push, that is going to push the changes. And now if you see in my, so In my master branch, if you see there's intro.txt. In my new feature branch, this is intro to docs. I mean, like this is not updated. So what I need to do is I need to make a pull request over here. So it's a pull request. So in pull request, what you will see is on the left side, it will say, okay, where is it is going to be heads to, and in the left side, in the left side, you will see where it's going to point to, and on the right side, you will see where is the changes coming from, and it's all the branches. So you will hit the create pull request. In the bottom side, you will see what are the changes that you have made. So you're just going to hit the pull request, and here you go. So in the file changes, you will see that, okay, this is something that you have added, and you can merge the pull request over here. That is going to commit on, that is going to merge in the master branch. So in the code, if you will see, you can see the updated files over here. So yep, you can start the code over here, and I hope you have enjoyed the session. If you have any question, you can post it right away. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vedant, for this excellent session covering the basic fundamentals of GitHub, Git and GitHub, and the essential concepts required to get started in the open source. So, if you guys have learned something new and something amazing, don't hesitate to share your insights with the public. You can easily do this by posting your learnings on Twitter and tag SheBuilds. Also, if you guys have any questions related to Git and GitHub, please feel free to reach out to Vedant. You can find his contact information in the video description below. Until then, happy hacking.